My name is Trust Mutekwa. My name is Trust Mutekwa. I'm a teacher at St. Giles Special School in Harare. I'm a teacher for children with diverse special needs, a specialist in working with children with visual impairments. This is 2020. We closed the schools on the 24th of March 2020 when the pandemic hit the city, the country. We had about 3 people affected. One of them died about that time. Then schools closed. And I thought we were going to open schools by the beginning of May because we had closed about the same time we would school year has 3 terms, January to end of March, then May to end of July, then September to early December. So I thought, well, it was already a term and we were going to have another term at the beginning of May. But when we did not open schools, I began to panic. Then I realized my students were not going to learn if we did not do something, because my students have visual impairments. Usually when we learn in school, we work with the braille with our students. So braille is the touch type. The touch is the feeling they have on a hard paper, and they will be reading with their fingers. So they produce the braille on their machines at school. Sometimes we produce the braille on our machines at school as a teacher, and we distribute the work with them at the school. But when the schools did not open in May, I realized we were going to have a challenge with those with visual impairment. So it was going to be difficult. I decided to work with a section of them who did not have computer skills. If a student with visual impairment have computer skills, it becomes easier. Why? Because if they have the computer skills. But we had a section of the students who did not have computer skills. So by the beginning of May, when we did not open schools, I started working on teaching those who did not have computer skills, so that whenever we would decide to send them work, they would be covered. So we opened a WhatsApp group with the family members of the students and decided to work on developing computer skills. In the beginning, they thought it was going to be difficult because they had never seen their students trying working with the computers. They never imagined students with visual impairment being able to work with computers. But we managed. I'm happy we managed to, by the end of July, more than half of them, we were working with the 22 kids. More than 11 of them were already able to work with computers. A few of them had difficulties here and there, but we addressed that performance lag as we moved towards this period, and we managed. Then we realized also that we needed to have a braille work with the students, but it was difficult because we could not travel. We had travel restrictions because of the pandemic, and we had to make an arrangement how to produce braille work for my students locked down in Harare, and students from other schools who were in Harare. They're still in Harare, who are in Harare, and would produce the braille according to their grade level or their reading needs, and would distribute the work in collection points around the city. So it worked for about 6 weeks. Then there was intervention now from the Ministry of Education. They said, no, this is a good initiative. We are going to work with the syllabus itself and work with the already published reading material, convert it to braille, so that the students would also enjoy, the students with visual impairment would also enjoy the same privilege enjoyed by the sighted students. So I started receiving work to proofread. Like they had their books published, then the trial versions embossed, printed in braille, and now I had to work with the transcribers to see if the work could be accessed by our students with the visual impairment. We did more than 6 volumes. Now it's being produced, and from there, what are we going to do? After producing this, we have already identified the number of schools, the number of students in any particular grade level around the country, and now where the students are located. So the distribution is going to be very easy. We take the books, we have identified the areas, where are they? In all the 10 provinces, the books are going to be sent around the country, and they are going to be at collection points where the parents or the teachers will take and distribute to every child in need of the work. So this is part of what we did. And we also realized when we closed the schools in March, schools closed, industries closed, factories closed. Many people did not go to work. So what happened? Some families had to move out of the city, out of cities, because it's very expensive to stay in city. There are those bills coming with every month. You buy everything. If you don't have a garden, you have to buy vegetables. You don't have a field, you have to buy milling for your staple. You have to buy, you have the water charges, electric charges. So it's expensive to stay in the city. So most families moved to the countryside. So when I also ran out of my food supplies, I had to go to the village in June for a week. I would just go there for a week. But I got the shock of my life there. I realized, it was like, the cities were emptied to have all the children stationed in rural villages. My parents, if their neighbors, around the neighborhood, 5 households had more than 45 children who had traveled from the cities. But all these now were out of touch. They were not in contact with their teachers. Their teachers were nowhere to be found. Well, because it was difficult. Connectivity on its own in the rural areas is difficult. So everyone was there, no touch with their teachers, and the children would just spend their days at home. Maybe this day they work in the field, in the afternoon they wait for food, day in, day out, doing the same activities. Then I realized that there was need to engage these children. Day one, I worked with children who were at my father's household, and we erected a backyard garden, and we worked on working with little amounts of water to water the garden, and we picked the peppers around, like maintaining the place. But with the peppers, we made a ball so that we would play soccer, we would play ball games when we were not working. And we also went into the bush to learn about the trees, about the plants, about the different kinds of trees in the forest. And that was June. When I went there in July, I had a plan. I like art myself. I'm into fabric art, painting, drawing. So I carried a lot of canvas, stretched canvas, paints, brushes, and some pieces of cloth for fabric art. So we had a good time with the kids. I worked, the biggest number I worked with was 27. In the 6 days I stayed in July, we painted. We came out with very nice paintings, expressions from the children themselves. Then I gave them a demonstration on how to do tie and dye with the fabric cloth pieces I gave them. And I gave them 6 days. Now we came out with we came up with 6 groups, and I gave them pieces, six pieces, so that they would work together and produce something related to what we had done in our activities. So they produced. I went again in August, and I saw the pieces, beautiful pieces they produced for tie and dye. Now already we are building on something. I expect to go there again in October. Now when we go in October, we are going to have, I'm now looking at roughly 30 children, because I worked with 27, the biggest number. So I'm looking at working with 60 meters of fabric, so that we have 2 meters per child. we do a different design on the fabric with the fabric art, fabric paint, maybe UV blocking. There is an art we call, the technique we call UV blocking. We damp the fabric in paint, in any color we want. Then we block with different shapes, even leaves. And after some minutes with the heat, we are going to have the effects on the fabric. Now that's going to be October. And we work on having everyone putting on a dress, a shirt, a trousers from the fabric they would have made on their own. By November, we must have clothes on ourselves with the kids in the village, because they do not have teachers. Their activities mostly are about household duties without learning anything to do with the school. So part of what I'm doing with the kids in my rural village, and what I'm doing with my students in locked down in Harare, visually impaired students, producing braille, teaching them how to work with computers, and reaching out to their parents, also teaching them how to read and write braille, so that if we send the work in braille, if they are stuck, the parents should be knowledgeable, should be skilled enough to read or even produce the braille on their own, and say, okay, you have gone wrong in this area, or you have to improve on this section of your reading or of your writing. And also during this time, not limited to my students or to parents of my students, I'm also working with teachers, local teachers. We also have our own WhatsApp group where we share our stresses, our challenges, where we encourage one another. Then we also have teachers from neighboring countries who are working on teaching their students on virtual platforms. We share their ideas with them, we learn from them, and we also share our experiences with them. I have talked to teachers in South Africa. I have been engaged by teachers in Kenya. I have been invited to share my experience with teachers in India, Maharashtra province. Just a few days ago, the 8th of September, I was with the Philippines, the Education Department, and the International Cooperation Office, where they were commemorating the International Literacy Day. And I was also sharing inclusivity, part of literacy, working with the students with hearing impairment, working with students with visual impairment. How are they fitting in the literacy when we are talking of literacy for everyone in the world? So this is part of what we are doing during this time. And we hope to have improved practices. If we are not going to go back to school anytime soon, we are working on mobilizing decision makers in our school system to afford more educational opportunities for our students. Maybe if it means we have to approach internet service providers to make sure that internet is afforded to everyone, is something we are going to be happy about, because right now, those who are not learning on virtual platforms, they are facing challenges with connectivity. They are facing challenges with the cost of connectivity. So it's what we are going to look into if we don't go to school anytime soon. Engaging decision makers, engaging internet service providers to make sure that the internet is available to everyone.